Hi guys, welcome to week 3 of Public Relations Principles. It's Dr. Jessica Freeman. I hope you're having a great week. I apologize, I'm a little bit behind by a day in posting my video, but the quiz has been up for a day, and you will see that that's available to you. I wanted to spend my video today just reviewing a couple of things. First, from the assignment that's coming up for the press kit. That is your final assignment, also sometimes referred to as a media kit. I wanted to give you a little bit of instruction beyond what is located on D2L. You do have a couple of files under content that refer to the instructions for this specific assignment, as well as a grading rubric that is included in the instructions. You can see specifically what I'm looking for, and then some examples of writing in a media kit that you can kind of use as a template. So I would ask that you guys start working on this press or media kit as soon as possible. You will see on D2L that I have assigned you guys alphabetically in pairs and one group of 3 because there's an odd number of people in the class. But I have assigned you in pairs to work on this final project. When we do an online class, they do like, the university likes for us to have some element of interactivity, and typically media kits are not assembled by one person, it's by a team of people often, and so I think this is a good project to exercise that teamwork on. And so I have assigned you in those teams. There will be a list posted under content for you of the pairs and groups names, who is in each group. And you will notice that if you go into under groups in D2L, there is a Dropbox and an assigned group discussion area for you guys to start out. I don't care how you work, if you decide to work via email or telephone, this is just a tool for you to use, but you will upload everything in PDF format to the Dropbox for your group. You only need to upload it one time per group because it does automatically populate to all of the members of the group for grading purposes. So if you have any questions though about that, please do look over that assignment, get in touch with your partner ASAP. If by the end of the week you're still having trouble getting in touch with that person or having issues, please let me know sooner than later so I can assist you and make sure that you're taken care of on this particular project. You don't want to wait until last minute because it does take a little bit of time. So you will see that all of that stuff is up there for you. And again, all of this stuff is due the last week of class, which is actually next week, coming up really quickly. It's due Friday, June 30th, which is actually 2+ weeks from now. So you have a little over 2 weeks to get this done and turned in. It is a significant portion of your grade, so I do recommend that you look at that grading rubric closely, that you do look at the instructions closely, and feel free to contact me every bit along the way if you have any questions. That being said, I want to talk a little bit about case study number 2, which dealt with the photo that was posted by the Liverpool, Ohio Police Department of the grandparents, I believe, and child, the grandparents who had had an opioid overdose in their car. And just wanted to briefly kind of talk about and touch on some of the issues that this particular case study brought up. I asked you to consider what are some of the ethical implications of this case study. First and foremost, most of you were able to catch on to the fact that, number one, there was a child in the car. And in the original version of the social media posting, the child's face was not blurred out. And From an ethical and certainly privacy standpoint, that's really questionable, especially considering this is a minor who has done nothing wrong, that social media posts will be up forever, that it will follow this child around or could follow them around for the rest of their lives potentially. And so there is an ethical implication about having the photo of the child out there, specifically with the child's face not blurred out. Secondly, and some of you kind of noted this, there are some issues with this being specifically a very sensitive photo. Some of you use the word sensitive, graphic. One of you used the word traumatic, in that it depicted two people who were basically overdosing actively on drugs. And if you look closely at the pictures, it's not really clear until you read the story that these people are not actually dead. It's very graphic. It can be kind of disturbing in nature. And one of the ethical implications of this is, number one, how are media audiences going to take this? Is it too graphic for media audiences to take in? But also just thinking about the people who are depicted in the photo, even though I believe, and I'm not certain on this, I'm not a media law scholar, but I believe that because it was taken in a public area, there wouldn't be any type of invasion of privacy issues. There are ethical implications rather than legal implications about showing these two people who you could argue are victims of addiction in a very weak and vulnerable moment. What are the implications of that? Several of you did disagree with this police department's posting of this photo, though a couple of you pointed out that perhaps even though it's a scare tactic, maybe it is an effective one. It has gotten a lot of media attention. Why has it gone viral? Well, I think there are a lot of different reasons. Number one, because it's just so shocking, and I think that it in some ways is a little bit macabre and grabs people's attention. You almost, as I noted earlier, have to read the story to kind of figure out these people didn't die, because they really look like they're dead, and it's really quite disturbing. So in some ways, I think it went viral because of the nature of the photo. Also, I think because opioid addiction has become such an issue in society, it's very relatable from a news value standpoint. There's an emotional component, especially when you add the layer of the child being in the car. It's very controversial. It's very emotionally impactful. And societally, it's very impactful. It's a very hot topic issue in society. And so I think that's largely part of the reason it went viral. But it is a very questionable photo, especially considering that it was published from a public entity, a police department's social media account. As we've talked about a little bit, that can get a little bit hazy as to what is appropriate for public officials to be posting in that public kind of tax-funded capacity, even on social media. So some interesting things to look at there. Keeping that in mind, really just keep in mind that quiz 3 is now up. So 3 of 4 quizzes now up, the quiz 3 up for this week. And then also that you guys should be actively working on that press kit and your case studies for this next week. Otherwise, I'm hoping that you have a wonderful week. Please do contact me sooner than later if you have any questions about the assignments. It's easier for me to help you up front than to help you the night before, especially in an online context. Otherwise, I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful third week.